The master swordsman there was a master swordsman who had an apprentice. He was training his apprentice to take over his shop one day, but the apprentice wasn't very talented. No matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't get any better. So the swordsman decided to give up on him. "You're not getting any better," he told his apprentice one day. "I'm sorry, but you'll never be a great swordsman. You're too slow. Your reflexes are bad, and you couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if you tried." The apprentice was devastated. He'd been working so hard, but he just wasn't getting any better, and now his master was giving up on him. The apprentice went out into the world to try to make something of himself, but he couldn't find a job. No one would hire him because he was just too unskilled. He ended up working odd jobs here and there, but it wasn't enough to make a living. He was poor and he was hungry, and he began to regret leaving his master. Meanwhile, the master swordsman was getting on in years. His health was failing, and he knew that he didn't have much time left. He started to regret kicking out his apprentice, because now there was no one to take over his shop. He tried to teach other apprentices, but they weren't very good either. One day, the master swordsman heard a commotion outside his shop. He went to the window and saw a group of men fighting. They were drunk, and they were causing a ruckus. The swordsman's old bones ached at the sight. He wished he could go out there and teach those young bucks a lesson, but he was too old, and his health was too poor. Then he saw one of the fighters go down. The others were beating him up, and he didn't have a chance. The swordsman's heart went out to the young man. He might have been a little older than his own apprentice, but he still had some fight left in him. The swordsman hobbled out into the street. The young man saw him and called out, "Help me, old man, please help me." The swordsman raised his cane like a sword and shouted, "Get away from him, you bullies." The men turned and saw the cane coming down on them. They scattered like mice. The swordsman helped the young man up and asked him if he was all right. The young man nodded and said, "Thank you, master swordsman." The swordsman was taken aback. "You know who I am?" he asked. The young man replied, "Of course. Everyone knows you're the greatest swordsman in the land. I may not be as good as you, but I learned everything I know from you. I was your apprentice." The swordsman's eyes widened in surprise. All these years he had been searching for his lost apprentice, and now he found him again. Not as a weak young man, but as a strong, capable young adult. The swordsman took his former apprentice back to his shop, and they talked for hours. The swordsman apologized for kicking him out, and the apprentice said that he understood. In the end, the apprentice stayed with the master, learning more swordplay and passing on his skills to the next generation. And so, the master swordsman died happy in the knowledge that his legacy would live on. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.